Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. There were a few DC updates that I would like to share with you today. But before that, I have to thank my newest members of the Ping Pong Flix Show. Thank you so much to OK Keith and Manny DC for joining the Ping Pong Flix Show family. And thanks to all the members. Every one of you guys and girls are the lifeline of the Ping Pong Flix family. I did upload an exclusive access video today. It's merely a preview of a prize, a random prize that you will get once we reach 100 members. So one of you lucky 100 members, once we reach there, will get that prize that I shared today. So hopefully you got to check that out. But of course, thank you to all subscribers for tuning in daily for DC content of movies, shows, and video games. The first topic of the day is going to be Marc Guggenheim has officially left the ARROWVERSE. Now, I know a lot of people are celebrating about this, and there are also people that are sad about this, but this is the story today. Comic Book Now reports this. During a panel for Comic-Con International Storytelling Across Media series, Arrow and DC Legends of Tomorrow co-creator Marc Guggenheim confirmed that he has officially stepped away from the ARROWVERSE. He had this to say. With the end of Arrow and finishing off Crisis on Infinite Earths, I basically decided that a chapter has been closed here, and it seemed like I've said all I'm going to say, at least for now, with these characters in this medium, Guggenheim explained. I've decided to sort of move on from the Arrowverse. By now, everyone knows that I'm involved with the Green Lantern launch for HBO Max, so I'm not going too far away, but I am stepping aside from the Arrowverse for the time being. During the same interview, when asked whether he might consider trying to write the Arrowverse versions of DC characters in a feature film context, Guggenheim didn't rule it out. He said this, I think so, he said when asked if he would take such an opportunity. I do love these characters, and I do miss working in this world. So whether you like it or not, there could be a possibility that he could actually throw in some of his Arrowverse characters in a feature film. That has never happened before, but maybe Grant Gustin showing up on The Flash could start that domino effect for his characters that he created for the Arrowverse. But in any case, he has left the Arrowverse. He is now going to go on to the Green Lantern series, which is my next topic. Green Lantern series will be written like a TV show, but produced like a movie. This is coming from comicbook.com, and he said this on that same panel that he was on for the other interview. He had this to say, I happen to believe, and this is not a universally held opinion, that you can't do a 10-hour show or an 8-episode show like an 8-hour movie. I don't think that works. When I see it done, there's always some flabby episodes in the middle. I think you have to approach it like a TV series and approach each episode like its own entity, even though it's streaming, even though hopefully people will binge it. You've got to make each episode a satisfying meal. You've got to look at it with a different tempo than you would have in a 2-hour movie. That being said, certainly the show for HBO Max that we're all working on, we are approaching it with the production ambitions of a movie. So we're writing it like a TV show, but we're hoping to produce it like a film. And that's kind of interesting for him to say, because it is rumored that the whole thing will be budgeted about $100 million, which we essentially come out to about, if it's a 10 1-hour episodes rather, that's, $10 million per episode, which is essentially what you would get from a Game of Thrones, from a Raised by Wolves, things that you see now that have pretty high production for a TV series that actually look like movies. So it's kind of exciting to see that this Arrowverse team will be approaching this series like a movie, and we'll actually could get actual movie-like productions. But for people who love the Arrowverse and how they're telling their story, it's going to be like that, but with a bigger budget. And that's interesting in itself. I would totally love to see what that actually looks like, whether or not you like the Arrowverse so far. But they are tackling Green Lantern this time around, a cosmic show with a big budget. Now, they are the same kind of people that have worked on the 2011 Green Lantern. And so that's why Marc Guggenheim kind of joked, we're returning to the scene of the crime, poking fun at the Green Lantern film that as just as star Ryan Reynolds has done numerous times over the years. So this team is going to tackle Green Lantern. I'm really intrigued to see what can come up with this, what is going to happen with this, and all the characters that are going to be introduced to this, and possibly even more. So the casting is very essential to this, and I want to bring it back to this tweet that Daniel RBK had put out. Now, essentially, I thought, according to my live show, I actually thought this was reference because that's Hal Jordan. I thought he was talking about maybe Ryan Reynolds, possibly hearing things about Ryan Reynolds. But Casey Walsh from the comics, at the Comics Kid, the editor-in-chief of Greek Geeks Worldwide, said that they are casting now. This is what Daniel RPK was actually hinting at yesterday, not Ryan Reynolds. So this is actually all about the Green Lantern series, where they're casting these characters now. They're casting the team for it now. Will we find out soon who is going to play the main characters? Simon Bass, Jessica Cruz, Scott Allen, or Alan Scott, and also Guy Gardner. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what's going to happen with that. Sinestro, is Hal Jordan going to be there? Is Jon Stewart actually going to be there? What's going to happen with this series, and what is this series going to be about? So on to the next thing about, speaking of series, really, where we're talking about TV shows and series and possible spin-offs, as I think a Green Lantern series could be a spin-off of Arrowverse entirely. But there is another series that's coming out, and that is Titans. Titans apparently has a Red Hood reveal soon, like within a few hours from where you're probably going to watch this, or it's already come out, but they had put this out as a teaser on 10/26, which is tomorrow, Titans, and they show a little splash of Red Hood. That this Red Hood symbol, I can't help but look at that and actually say, yeah, you know what? Isn't that the Arkham symbol from the Arkham games? That's exactly the same Batman symbol for the Arkham. So I'm wondering if the Red Hood, this version of Red Hood, will be more like the Arkham Red Hood. And I think that should excite a lot of Arkham fans when this actually gets revealed. Now, is this just revealing the costume for Red Hood, or is it going to be the rumored Titan spin-off series, Red Hood? Red Hood's getting his own spin-off series, according to the Vulcan Reporter. They've actually talked about that, and I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'm really excited to see if that will actually happen. It would definitely expand the Titan universe and expand on the roster. In any case, a lot of shows are going on HBO Max, and this may be one of those shows that will be revealed, and probably by the time you see this, and maybe it already has been revealed already. So, but speaking of, because we're talking about Gotham and the Batman is continuing to be filmed in Chicago, and I think this is just the second unit team, as I'm sure Robert Pattinson and the rest of the cast are still in Liverpool, but the second unit team are doing some chase scenes in Chicago, and just like the Nolan trilogy, the same, really, I think this is really the same area where they shot some of these chase scenes, but that looks awesome. This looks great. Pictures from Rob Olewinski, some great shots of the Bat costume, and also Catwoman is right next to him. Of course, they're probably going to change this a little bit and maybe add in the cape afterwards to make it look cool. But looking at this, doesn't that kind of look like a really cool poster? And I think Boss Logic agrees. Boss Logic designed this awesome fan poster of the Batman, and it really looks like a comic book almost, but that's a kick-ass motorcycle, and it looks really cool. I gotta say, I'm really enjoying all these behind-the-scenes look at the Batman, also the trailer. I think this is going to be a real winner of a movie, and I can't wait to watch the Batman with Robert Pattinson kicking butt and driving awesome, vehicles. Let's see if that's really a gun or is it a grappling. There's a lot of conversations about that, and pretty much how his suit, the Catwoman suit, evolves to whatever it's going to be by the end of the movie. So that is the Batman. Since we're talking about movies now, I want to get into James Gunn. James Gunn actually has some updates on the Suicide Squad. He tweeted this out when someone asked, not saying the other guy is going to successfully convince James Gunn to change the story, but most movies have reshoots built into their schedule. Well, James Gunn actually had this to say about reshoots. We also had reshoots built into our schedule, but we're latching the movie this week. That's picture locking, with the exception of shifting things around for still incoming VFX shots without having shot any. So that he's kind of pretty much saying that there's not going to have any reshoots. They have reshoots built into your schedule, but he's not going to need it. He thinks he's got everything that he's needed and he's ready to go. Now we're going to go into post-production, and that's it. So he's pretty confident in that, and that's very rare. Not many people usually you try to take advantage of reshoots, but it's kind of difficult for reshoots, so you might as well save it, and maybe you're pretty confident that you've got everything that you've needed. You can work around things, and I think that's great. I think that means he is very confident in the product that he has and ready to show the audience. A little bit more on the Suicide Squad. He said that when someone asks, Harley Quinn has a franchise armor. I'm pretty sure King Shark and Amanda Waller also has them in other things protection, and everyone will set an 80% chance of dying because of we see characters that we're thinking that will probably not die, but according to James Gunn, no character was protected by DC. They gave me carte blanche to do what I wanted. That was one of the things we agreed to before I came to work for them. I wasn't looking for shock value, but I wanted the audience to know anything could happen. Story reigns supreme. # the Suicide Squad. Now, the one thing about this being in the multiverse is that it could, and them saying that this is not really a sequel to the Suicide Squad. Yes, some characters are transferring over, but he's essentially saying that he's having the same actors and actresses playing those characters, but they're not telling him that he can't hold on to these characters. He's saying the studio is telling him that. That means he could kill off Harley Quinn if he really wanted to. He could kill off Amanda Waller, Rick Flag, anybody in this, especially if he actually kills Harley Quinn, that's pretty big. But he can do anything he want with these characters without even studio direction saying that we want to keep this because it's continuing off from here and continuing off from there. So that to me sounds like the Suicide Squad is its own thing. It's like, if that world building that James Gunn is going to do, and if it's successful, he can branch off that universe that could possibly have main characters, people we know and love, like Harley Quinn, kicking the bucket in that movie. And she won't appear in another Suicide Squad, but she could still appear in someone else's universe as Harley Quinn. Confused? Maybe, but if the multiverse is truly in effect, and if each director can choose what they want to do with each character for their specific movie or, branching universe, then that means James Gunn doesn't have to let any of these characters live, and he could essentially kill them off if he so chooses. And the studio wouldn't mind that at all. They could still resurrect certain characters as a different version of that character, but that character in another universe. We'll see if that really happens, and we'll see what does that mean in terms of what characters can they connect to another universe and so on and so forth. How branching is this DCEU? That part is the most confusing to me, but these words are pretty much just warning us right now that don't expect certain characters you think they're going to live in this movie to go on and live to the end of the movie. So that's interesting. I think that's something that that it will be very different from other DC movies that's coming out. All right, next up is Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern update. Yeah. Now, I know I talked a little bit on the live show, but if you didn't check that out, and I know you probably didn't, but Grace Randolph did have an update on the Green Lantern situation. She said this: here is a Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern Snyder Cut update. Hearing he really wants to do, just a matter of fitting it into his busy schedule. Deal ready to go. Again, just need to make it work time-wise. It would be brilliant and so great for everyone involved. Find that time. And I said, make that time. I replied, said, make time, Anthony Reynolds. I would totally love him to come back as Green Lantern. Now, only because if he really wants to do it, right? I believe that he probably may want to redeem himself. I mean, he's been joking about Green Lantern. He's been killing himself essentially in a movie, right? And I think this comes like a situation where he's approaching it like Deadpool. When he was Deadpool the first time in X-Men Origins, the Wolverine movie, which totally was crap, I'm sure he wanted a second chance at Deadpool. And when he got that second chance as Deadpool, he never looked back. That Deadpool 1 and 2 are fantastic movies. They're blockbusters. I love those. And I really wish and hope that he could continue on the Deadpool saga and Deadpool 3, whatever that needs to be done so he can get the Deadpool he needs to do. But in the meantime, I think he feels that he could probably redeem himself as a new Green Lantern, a new version of a Hal Jordan, so that you could kind of just erase the Green Lantern that he did before. He did it with Deadpool, redeemed himself with Deadpool. Why not redeem yourself as Green Lantern in either the Snyder Cut or even show up as your own version of the Hal Jordan over on the Green Lantern HBO Max series, or even a movie if there's going to still make a movie, a Green Lantern movie. And I think he should. I think if he himself really wants to do that, then he should get a shot at doing that. So I really hope he makes time to come back as Green Lantern if he truly wants to. And it is also important that Zack also wants that as well. So I think that's kind of cool. Now, in terms of the Snyder Cut, I was really thinking there was going to be something today. There were a few people that, kind of hang around Zack Snyder, kind of dropped hints that there was going to be something on Vero today. Nothing happened, at least, in the next 1 hour. But I think we're going to have to wait a little bit longer for some cool stuff coming on Vero. But maybe there's going to be more stuff on Zack Snyder's Justice League and just a little bit of maybe a little appetizer, I guess, if you will. I'll put this link in the description below. But on TikTok, HBO Max has a TikTok. I didn't know that. They put out a short little Zack Snyder's Justice League clip on there. The second part has a interesting music at the end, so I can't play it here because I don't know if it's copyright, but you go ahead and check it out. I don't know if it's Junkie XL, but if it is, it sounds pretty awesome, and I think you guys should, if you're a Zack Snyder's Justice League fan, go ahead and check it out. So, but that is it. That is it for this weekend. What a weekend. I can't wait to see what happens this week as Zack Snyder's is possibly finishing up shooting for the additional photography, where hopefully we will get some stuff out of the DC shows. I would love to see that Lois Superman suit finally hurry up, and other things as well. So if you absolutely love daily content of DC movies, shows, and video games, please click the like button, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, keep this hot dog light on, and I'll see you next time.